We have some new massive projections for spot Xrp ETF. 21 shares, Grayscale. What happens if BlackRock gets in? Wisdom Tree, Franklin Templeton. Chad has done the legwork. We are going to go through everything that he's posted here. It's going to give you a really good understanding of what he thinks is possible. And of course, I'm going to give you my 2 cents of what I think is possible here. But these numbers are kind of crazy. So let's just take this in stride. Understand that the price is going to fluctuate up and down. If it goes up, these numbers obviously will not reflect everything that you see here, but it's a good idea to be prepared and to have this knowledge. So let's just jump into it together and we'll figure this out. We'll figure this out. 21 shares Xrp ETF scenario, assume the current price. So all of this is assume the current price of what, like $2.20. That is what you need to understand across all of this. So if the price goes, if the doubles or if the price triples or quadruples, you just start to have to cut this in half, cut this in, cut this in thirds, fourths. Like you would really start to, have to redo all of this. Day one, November 21st, assume slightly better, 125 million in assets. Here is the projection. All right, XRP acquired. So if the first day is 125 million, this is how much XRP they would acquire with that 125 million. Assume half of the daily average going forward. Here is the daily for 29 million XRP or 30 million XRP, give or take. Weekly would be just under 150 million. Monthly would be just under 600 million. And yearly would be 7 billion XRP collected and to fund this ETF, which would be an enormous number. All right. And then here's Franklin Templeton scenarios. We know that Franklin Templeton is supposed to launch here on the 24th. It did have some smaller launch on SIBO, but we are waiting for that, much larger launch here. We're using price targets here. The analysts have said 150 to 250 million the first day. Chad used an average of 200 million, which is right in between here, the two, right? You went up 50 million on the 150, and then you went down 50 million on the 250 to reach a happy medium of $200 million. And then it says use 50% XRP acquired and then 100 million worth. So he's cutting it in half again. This would be your daily, right? If there's $100 million in volume coming in, you'd be taking off about this much XRP and then 50 million. And then of course, here are some other numbers here. 1 week, 1 month, and 1 year. Could you imagine 5.6 billion XRP being bought? But this would be $12 billion in ETF demand in just one ETF. So just please understand that, right? We're talking about some monster numbers. Wisdom Tree XRP ETF scenario, assume less than Canario day one, but better than the daily average moving forward. So we're talking about maybe 35 million in XRP in day one. And this would be about 16.587 million XRP. This would be 1 week. This would be 1 month, right? 331,000. And then in 1 year, we could be talking about just under 4 billion XRP. All right, so Chad also put some information together for Grayscale. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one. Grayscale XRP ETF scenario. Assume current price slightly better than SOL. And then it says 1 month, 150 million worth of XRP target. He did this a little backwards this time. So let's start from the bottom here. This would be the first day, about $7.5 million. So this would be about 3.5 million XRP. 1 week would be 17 million. 1 month would be 71 million, and 1 year would be 853 million XRP off of exchanges to fund this ETF. All right. Now we're getting into the very fantasy land of BlackRock eventually getting in here. Now, we did see some information about some major outflows for BlackRock. I don't know if I have that here, but BlackRock had one of its worst day for IBIT for Bitcoin in history. I think it was almost $500 million. There is some panic going on in the Bitcoin space right now. People are running like the ship is on fire. Now, I don't know if that is going to course correct. And remember, it's not BlackRock that is selling. It is the customers at BlackRock that are selling. But BlackRock will probably look to expand outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and XRP is probably a legitimate place that they would go. I would imagine they would also go towards Solana as well. So if BlackRock decided to do this, if they got the customer demand, if people like yourself who have a BlackRock account picked up the phone and said, I demand a spot XRP product, they were like, oh snap, we got to get this going, right? And they would make it happen. But here's some of the numbers that we'd be looking at. So 100 billion worth of XRP, assuming XRP price of today, they would be, this would, I mean, you're talking about 47 billion XRP swooped off exchanges. Like this is like the hard stuff to believe, right? But here's some of the price targets that Chad put: $12, $25, $220 if BlackRock were to gobble up a lot of this. The Grayscale XRP is ready for launch coming soon. So that is good to go. And I wanted to take a look here. Here is some projections. If you throw all of these together, this is what you'd be looking at. Assume current price. Use seven first phase funds. That is a tongue twister. Combine the average up to 12 funds for phase 2. So phase 1, phase 2. Here is kind of what he believes that you could be looking at using the current today's price. So just understand that. Like, then this is what I don't love about some of these projections, because obviously if you start to get even remotely some of these inflows, the price is not going to stay the same, right? It's because like this is assuming that the price stays the same through all of this, through the entire year, and all of this buying still happens at the same price, right? So like, who's going to be selling the XRP for $2, right? Retail isn't, right? Retail is going to be trying to buy more. So, you know, these scenarios are good to understand, to look at, but you can't really take this too seriously because we're using just kind of fantasy land, you know, assumptions here. Here's Canary, Bitwise, 21 shares, Coin Shares, Wisdom Tree, Grayscale, and Franklin Templeton. You add it all together, 1 year, 7 funds totaling 22 billion XRP. Average 5 fund phase 2, 3.4 billion, and 1 year, 12 fund total of 39 billion. Just not enough XRP available to do stuff like that. And here is the Canary numbers in the first 4 days, $128 million. That is very strong for 4 days. And this, I wanted to break some of this stuff down. The hypothetical spot ETF scenario suggests an aggressive rate of XRP acquisition by institutional funds, projecting nearly all publicly available XRP being absorbed in current pricing and acquisition patterns hold for a year, based on the claimed 12 fund total of 39.8 billion XRP. Let's break that down. The assumptions compare the circulating supply and the assets in this scenario. ETF demand and circulating supply. The listed ETF projections, nearly 40 billion in 1 year, if expanded to 12 funds and sustained, with phase 1 already proposing over 22 billion XRP allocated to just 7 funds. As of November 2025, the circulating supply estimates around 59 billion to 65 billion, 65 billion being the correct number, depending on the source, and around 35 billion still locked up in Ripple escrow. Thus, this hypothetical ETF scenario envisions ETFs acquiring well over half of the actively circulating supply within just 1 year, which I don't believe is going to happen personally. Public float and tradable supply. The freely tradable public float is even smaller, since a significant portion remains long-term wallets, whales, and inactive accounts. Retail access is estimated to be far below the full circulating supply. Some projections suggest that the real liquid float could be as low as 30 billion XRP or less. The ETF acquisition of almost 40 billion XRP did not occur as projected here. It would likely exhaust the available liquid supply much faster, likely leading to severe market disruptions. Remember, if they go through the 2 or 3 billion XRP that's on exchanges, and the XRP is completely depleted from exchanges, the price is not going to be $2, right? The price would be $100 or $1,000, because the market cap multiplier would just be so enormous on the inflows. The hard part you get here is when the price starts to go up, then these long-term whales and these long-term holders start to be like, hey, $10, I'm game, right? I have a million XRP, that's $10 million, right? Some people have 10 million or 50 million or 100 million XRP, some of these larger institutions. The XRP's at $50 or $100 and they have billions of dollars. You don't think they're going to take profit, right? So some of this stuff, I just, it's good to look at, but I try to be realistic here. Keep flowing XRP. So a lot of inflows right now. We are seeing cumulative total net inflows, 276 million. So this is great. This is keeping XRP at an even keel when a lot of the market is falling from the sky. And just taking a look at some of this stuff is kind of crazy. All right, let's get an update on what's going on with the crypto market structure bill. We have the CEO of Coinbase here, Brian Armstrong. He's been on Capitol Hill almost every day. I think he's got so much to lose here if they get it wrong. And so he's doing everything he can to be a leader, which I greatly appreciate. You just start to wonder what is he asking for here? But we need people like this. I just want to know kind of what the tax is going to be for Coinbase here.
Hey everyone, Brian Armstrong, Coinbase CEO here. I'm in the halls of Congress, back again, pushing for market structure legislation. We've seen a lot of progress since I was last here. We've now seen draft text shared by the Senate Ag Committee. Senate Banking is also working nights and weekends to get the next iteration of their text out. So we've got a good chance, I think, of a markup for this bill in December, hopefully get it to the president's desk shortly thereafter. This would be a big milestone to get crypto unlocked with clear rules in the US, which would benefit all companies. But of course, Coinbase wants to be the top crypto company, so we're working hard on product in the meantime as well. And December 17th, we've got our product event, which you can tune on the live stream to see everything we've been building in the second half of this year. Thanks all of you for continuing to show up and contact your representatives and keep pushing for clear rules for crypto in the United States. We will keep doing our part here as well to try to make it happen. Thanks.
That's a really good thing to say, right? You have some power here. If you are in the United States, 55% of the people that watch this channel are in the United States, and you have so much power. You can pick up the phone, you can call your senator, your congressperson and say, hey, crypto is extremely important to me and my family. I want to make sure that this is done correctly. What are your plans? How are you voting? And put some pressure on them, right? You vote for these people, right? They will pick up the phone if you are their constituent. If you're not their constituent, they will not get back to you, right? I tried to reach out to a congressperson or a senator in like Louisiana or Kentucky or something one time because I wanted to talk with them about crypto. Oh, sorry, sir, you don't live in our area. We're not going to talk to you. I was like, okay, I understand, but if you live in the area, you got the power. Senator Tim Scott says the Senate could move on crypto market structure in December. Okay. So is anybody noticing a pattern here? It was September, then it was October, then it was, we'll get this before Thanksgiving, and now maybe before the end of December. So, man, please, is there a crypto god that we can pray to? We need legislation done before the end of the year, right? It is important that we go into 2026 with crypto already done because there's still so much to do. And every time we push this back another month and another month, we push all of this back. And we just need to get things going here. Like it's super, super important. Now's the time. Strike while the iron's hot. Whatever you want to put into that, let's do it. Paul Barron says investors are pulling money from the largest Bitcoin ETFs, which are now underperforming treasury bills, rotation into ETH, XRP, and Solana. I mean, we did see a lot of this coming here. The Post presents a current market update of the crypto ETF with a focus on Bitcoin and Ethereum. According to the data and commentary by Paul Barron, the key facts here, investors are withdrawing funds from the largest Bitcoin ETFs, triggering notable outflows. The net flow chart shows Bitcoin ETH with outflows of 373 million and ETH ETFs with 74 million in the same period ending of November 17th. Bitcoin ETF performance is described as underperforming treasury bills, suggesting a risk-off sentiment among investors. The commentary indicates a rotation from capital and Bitcoin ETFs to other digital assets, including Ethereum, XRP, and Solana, highlighting possible increase in investor interest in these coins. The accompanying chart from CoinMarketCap visuals net flows for Bitcoin and ETH ETFs over the past 30 days, with repeated negative bars suggesting sustained capital outflows with both categories. Basically, people are taking profits or they're getting out of, right? We don't even know if these people are in profit, but they're selling Bitcoin, they're selling Ethereum, they're going into Solana, they're going into XRP and other alts. And then we have some new information here. Here's a scoop from Eleanor Terrett. New Hampshire launches first Bitcoin-backed municipal bond. Like what is this? New Hampshire has officially launched the first ever municipal bond in the United States backed by Bitcoin, marking a major milestone for digital assets in public finance. Under this program, a borrower must post approximately 160% of the bond's value in Bitcoin as collateral, held by a third-party custodian, which is BitGo. If the value falls below 130%, an automated liquidation mechanism ensures bondholders are repaid, protecting investors from crypto price volatility. The deal is structured by Wave Digital Assets with Rosemar management and legal guidance from Orwick, blending traditional municipal bond rules with crypto collateral standards. So new products are being presented and offered, and that is what we are seeing here. And is it possible to offer this at XRP and other assets? Issuing municipal bonds backed by other digital assets like XRP is entirely possible under similar structures. The New Hampshire initiative itself is designed as a sandbox for testing how crypto can function as high-grade collateral within government finance. The model is over-collateralized by 150 to 160% of bond value. Robust custody liquidation protections can be applied to any crypto asset, meeting institutional standards for liquidity, custody, and legal clarity and price verifiability. All right, there's a few more things here I wanted to show you. Circle says introducing Circle's X Reserve, a new interoperability infrastructure for blockchain teams to launch USDC-backed stablecoins built to expand the USDC ecosystem. X Reserve enables developers and users to transfer value seamlessly between USDC and USDC backed stablecoins across supported chains. Trusted and transparent, Xreserve is a Circle deployed smart contract that holds USDC to back stablecoins on participating blockchains. Fully interoperable one-to-one transfers between USDC backed stablecoins and USDC for unified liquidity. Trust minimalized cross-chain transfers and verified by Xreserve assertion, reducing reliance on third-party bridges. Future extensibility designed to support additional assets beyond USDC, including EuroC. So a lot of things happening there with Circle. Of course, I will keep you completely updated on this, guys. What do you think about all of these, possible ETF numbers? Do you think we are kind of living pie in the sky here? Do you think this is reasonable? I'd like to just better understand where you are at. I'm, of course, going to keep you completely updated every single day. I will bring the fire and the heat and all of the information that you need to know. Thank you for trusting this channel with your daily XRP news. It is always an honor to get up here and speak with you. I hope you have a truly blessed and a fantastic day. Let's get it, XRP!